everyone. Welcome to our today's listening lesson of pre-intermediate level. Before we commence our learning, let's spend about 5 minutes on the revision of preceding lesson. For the revision, I'll introduce you a new game which is called Gold Miner Game that I hope all of you will feel exhilarated and started in learning. Now, let's get started. Here you are. There are 5 bars of gold, each of which indicates a question and a certain amount of money. At first, I'll choose the one which is worth $150, the biggest one. What does GM in GM Food stand for? A. General Manager. B. Genetically modified. C. General Models. Or D. Grammar. GM food obviously is a special type of food which is produced from plants or animals whose DNA has been altered through genetic engineering. It is called genetically modified food. So, I choose B as the final answer. Bingo, I've got $150 now. For the next question, I'll choose the gold bar which is worth $100. I just want to be filthy rich, you know. What type of weather condition in which the air temperature falls below the freezing point of water? A. Frost. B. Smog. C. Drought. Or D. Tsunami. As what I can remember, smog is dirty air that looks like a mixture of smoke and fog caused by smoke from vehicles or factories, while drought occurs in dry weather, and tsunami is defined as a large wave caused by extreme conditions. So my answer is frost. A. Well done. I'll soon own a fortune. $50 may be a good choice at this present time. A long period of dry weather when there is not enough water for plants and animals to live is called A. Flood, B. Hurricane, C. Tornado, or D. Drought. Let's interpret the definition of each word. Hurricane or tornado is an extremely violent storm consisting of air that spins very quickly and causes a lot of damage. Flood is a very large amount of water that covers an area that is usually dry. Therefore, the above definition indicates drought. D is my choice. Do you agree? Bingo! Now, I'll choose the question with $20 worth. What is pollen? Let's take a look at each notion and try to guess what they are presenting. A. A small, long animal with many legs that feeds on the leaves of plants and develops into a butterfly or moth. What is it? It's an animal and it's a caterpillar. B. Any of the usually brightly colored parts that together form most of the flower. Can you realize what it is? It's a petal. D. A colored or white part that a plant or tree produces before fruit or seeds. This indicates a Flower. So my answer is C. Fine powder, usually yellow, that is formed in flowers. Let's see. Well done. Here comes the last question, and it is also the question with the smallest amount of money. Whole communities to death during the long drought. Can you recognize what's missing in the sentence? A main verb, right? So, A, starving doesn't make sense. Furthermore, communities is written in plural form, so B and C aren't grammatical. My final answer is D, which is written in simple past tense. Good job. I own a fortune now. Okay, that's all for the revision. Now, welcome back to our new lesson. Are you a vegetarian? If you are, this topic will be really engaging and interesting for you because it has a huge impact on your life. If you aren't a vegan, it doesn't matter at all because it will help you adopt a new viewpoint on veganism. I guess most of you can figure out what today's topic is about, right? And the topic is veganism. To help you gain more understanding of our new lesson, I'll provide you with some new words. To rule something out. When someone rules something out, it means he decides that something isn't possible or suitable. Repeat after me. To rule something out. Again, to rule something out. Here is one example for you. The warehouse fire has ruled out any chance that we will make a profit this year. Next one. What is carbon emissions? From the picture, you can interpret its definition. Actually, carbon emissions are carbon dioxide that planes, cars, factories produce thought to be harmful to the environment. Repeat now.
Carbon emissions.
Again.
Carbon emissions.
I'll give you one example. We all need to do more to reduce carbon emissions. Welfare. I'm sure you encounter this word quite often in the IELTS writing test. It means health and happiness. Listen and repeat.
Welfare.
One more time.
Welfare.
Now take a look at the example. Our present concern is the children's welfare. What is livestock? I believe the picture partly reveals its meaning. Livestock are animals and birds that are kept on a farm, such as cows, sheep, or chickens. Repeat.
Livestock.
One more time.
Livestock.
Here is the example for you. The organic livestock industry has grown substantially in the last few years. Here comes the final vocabulary. To swap. Do you know what is the synonym of to swap? That is to exchange. What does it mean? When someone swaps something for something, it means he gives something to someone and gets something in return. Listen and repeat.
Swap.
Again.
Swap.
Good job. I'll give you one example to make it clear. He swapped his watch for a box of cigars. To review all the new words, you have 5 minutes to complete this mini task. Match the definitions from A to H with the vocabulary from 1 to 8. You can pause the video for 5 minutes to fulfill the assignment, then play the video again and check the answer with me. Now go! Are you done? Now let's see. Number 1. Resources. This word is quite familiar, simple, and easy for you, right? Obviously, resources are natural substances like water that are used in human activity. C is the correct answer. Number 2. To rule something out. Indeed, I have just taught you this verb phrase a few minutes ago. Of course, A is the right answer. To stop considering something as a possibility. Number 3. Carbon emissions. What does it mean? It means carbon dioxide produced by cars, factories, etc. that harms the environment. E. Bingo. 4. Welfare. It is a noun, so you should find the definition that presents a noun, and the answer is B. Health and happiness. Do you agree with me? Number 5. To clear a forest. For this verb phrase, you must analyze the meaning of to clear, which is to remove. So the answer must be F. To cut down all the trees. What is your answer for number 6? Livestock. Do you remember what this now presents? Livestock are farm animals and birds, for example, cows and chickens. D is the answer. Number 7. The synonym of swap is exchange, so H must be the answer. To exchange something for another thing. The last question. Number 8. Of course, the answer for number 8 is G. Home that will last for a long time or forever. That's it. I hope those new words will help you fully understand the lesson and complete the exercise excellently. Task 1. Decide if each of the following statements is true or false. For this task, you should spend a few seconds on skimming all these sentences before you watch the video. While watching the video, you can take notes of some relevant information that is associated with the questions posed. Let's watch the video. Is being vegan more environmentally friendly? Then complete the exercise.
Ruby, happy World Vegan Day. I made you this cake.
Thanks, Jono. It's definitely vegan. Vegans can be hard to cook for. Like vegetarians, they don't eat meat, but they also rule out other animal products, like eggs, milk, and sometimes even honey. There are different reasons people choose to be vegan, like animal welfare or as a way to eat healthier. But there's another reason that's been getting a lot of attention recently. Last month, a big study came out looking into the effect our food has on the environment, and it found that eating less meat is one of the most important things we can do to help the planet. You see, a huge amount of the Earth's resources go into raising livestock for meat. In some places, forests are cleared to make space for animals and to grow their food. They also use a lot of water, and these ones in particular create a lot of carbon emissions. Cow burps and farts account for about 16% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The study says to prevent permanent damage to our planet, the average world citizen needs to eat 75% less beef, 90% less pork, and 50% fewer eggs. Of course, not everyone's going to go vegan or give up eating meat completely, but swapping your beef for beans or your chicken for chickpeas every so often might not be such a bad idea.
Alright, Jono, try this.
This is vegan?
Yeah. It's not all other food.
Now let's come back to task 1. Look at questions number 1 and number 2. Vegans and vegetarians don't eat meat. Vegans eat eggs and drink milk. Obviously, either of these statements must be true and the other is false. Listen again.
Vegans can be hard to cook for. Like vegetarians, they don't eat meat, but they also rule out other animal products, like eggs, milk, and sometimes even honey.
What did you learn from the recording? According to the audio, vegans can be hard to cook for. They don't eat meat. That means number 1 is true. Number 2, but they also rule out other animal products like eggs, milk, and sometimes even honey. They rule out other animal products means they don't eat these animal products, for example, eggs, milk, or honey. So number 2 is false. Number 3, some people choose to be vegan as a way to be healthier. Let's see whether it is true or false. Listen.
There are different reasons people choose to be vegan, like animal welfare or as a way to eat healthier.
What is your answer? There are different reasons people choose to be vegan, like animal welfare or as a way to eat healthier, which indicates number 3 is true. Number 4, their study says it's important that we eat more meat to help the planet. In fact, this piece of information is in contrast to the message conveyed in the recording. Let's listen to make sure your answer is correct.
But there's another reason that's been getting a lot of attention recently. Last month, a big study came out looking into the effect our food has on the environment, and it found that eating less meat is one of the most important things we can do to help the planet.
What did you hear? And it found that eating less meat is one of the most important things we can do to help the planet. Actually, we should eat less meat to protect our planet. So number 4 is false. Number 5. A lot of the Earth's water is used for producing meat. Listen to figure out how much water is provided for producing meat.
In some places, forests are cleared to make space for animals and to grow their food. They also use a lot of water, and these ones in particular create a lot of carbon emissions.
In some places, forests are cleared to make space for animals and to grow their food. They also use a lot of water. In fact, this information is very clear in the recording, right? So the answer for number 5 is true. Number 6. Cows produce 6% of the world's carbon emissions. Pay attention to the statistic mentioned in the recording. Listen.
And these ones in particular create a lot of carbon emissions. Cow burps and farts account for about 16% of global greenhouse gas emissions.
Are you done? Cow burps and farts account for about 16% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The figure in this sentence is wrong, right? It's 16 rather than 6%. So number 6 is false. That's the end of task 1. Now let's continue with task 2. Complete the sentences with no more than 2 words. I'm sure you encounter this type of exercise quite often. Tell me, what steps should we take before listening? Off the top of my head, I will identify what type of lexicon should be filled in these blanks. For example, number 1, vegans rule out meat and other like milk or eggs. Milk and eggs are 2 nouns. Therefore, a noun or a noun phrase must be put in this blank so that it can be paralleled to the other 2 products. Listen.
Vegans can be hard to cook for. Like vegetarians, they don't eat meat, but they also rule out other animal products, like eggs, milk, and sometimes even honey.
What is your answer? Mine is animal products. Do you agree with me? Number 2. After preposition about, there are 2 situations can be analyzed, a noun or a gerund. Listen.
There are different reasons people choose to be vegan, like animal welfare or as a way to eat healthier.
Tell me your answer. Actually, some people choose to be vegan because they are concerned about animal welfare. Is your answer correct? Number 3. The to be are is used in this sentence, so the subject must be written in plural form. Listen and find out the answer yourself.
You see, a huge amount of the Earth's resources go into raising livestock for meat.
A huge amount of the Earth's resources are used to produce meat. So the answer for number 3 is resources. Is that clear for you? Number 4. Similarly, a plural noun as the subject is needed in this sentence. Listen.
In some places, forests are cleared to make space for animals and to grow their food.
Are you done? So, what are cleared to make space for animals? That is, forests. Number 5. The study says we should eat 75% less, 90% less, and 50% fewer. In the first 2 places, an uncountable noun is grammatically needed, but the third one must be a countable noun because the quantity word fewer is followed. Listen.
The study says to prevent permanent damage to our planet, the average world citizen needs to eat 75% less beef, 90% less pork, and 50% fewer eggs.
I'll show you the answer. So, we should eat 75% less beef, 90% less pork, and 50% fewer eggs. Number 6. Swapping beef for sometimes may be a good idea. A noun is certainly used because it is followed by a preposition, and to make sure it is parallel to the noun beef, which stands before the preposition. Listen.
Of course, not everyone's going to go vegan or give up eating meat completely, but swapping your beef for beans or your chicken for chickpeas every so often might not be such a bad idea.
What is the answer for this question? The answer is beans. Swapping beef for beans. Okay, that's all for today. Remember to do your homework. Eating less meat is an effective way to help the environment. To what extent do you agree or disagree with this opinion? Give reasons for your answer, including relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 150 words. Please submit your work to your teacher before the 5th of May. Thank you for listening. See you again.